Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah, yeah, sure. This image is massive. Hmm. I don't even know if we're green yet. Let me actually check. I think we're green, Raj. We're good to go.
Okay, very much welcome. This is Mr. Roger Bergster talking away, talking away. Well, that as well, all the way from Stockholm, Sweden. Hello, hello. That Beautiful Life podcast episode 200. Da, 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 achievement unlocked. So, as always, we're sitting here two. I'm here in Sweden, and all the way over in Trini, we have the beautiful Mr. Kidus Campbell. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm actually sitting here wrapped in a blanket. And I
Oh, you
just,
are?
yeah, and then I just remembered I'm in the tropics. I could turn the air conditioning off if I want to. I
Exactly.
don't have to be in a blanket. I don't know why I got up this morning. I decided I'm gonna just have a blanket thrown all over me. I could have literally just turned off the AC. It's the remote was right
Yeah.
next to me. Um, so yeah, but I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, good. That sounds good. Yeah, once again, we're just gonna shortly explain for those of you that don't know. The time right now for me is almost 9:30, 9:25. For you, it's most likely 4:25 or something a.m.,
Hmm.
isn't it? So it's a huge time difference.
It
But this
is
is
a
how
huge time
we
difference.
did back in the days when we started to record the podcast.
Yeah.
This is how it was.
Hmm.
Q had to sacrifice his night sleep all the time for
Yep.
us recording a
Y-
bit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's it and to be honest, right? I had my body has so when I first got back to TT, I was still operating on a UK times slot, but then obviously because I've had interactions and things to do with with family and friends and all that kind of stuff, my body has adjusted to a Trinidadian time zone. So it's a
Yeah.
weird thing where I operate in two time zones essentially because like I interact with my family back home in the UK from a UK time zone because they'll call me during like UK waking hours, like while they're awake. But at the same time, then I'm interacting with friends and family here in TT during a Trinidadian time zone, and it
Yeah.
means that by the time I go to bed, it's actually late. I go to bed like
Mm.
around midnight, and I'm here, and then I have to like with the podcast, I'm waking up like 4 a.m. in the morning. So I think last night I
Oh,
must.
wow.
I'll be honest. I think I went to bed at 1. um,
Oh.
and I've probably had like 3 hours. And then
Mm.
this morning I'm not gonna be able to go back to sleep because I have errands to run today when we finish. So if I go,
Oops.
and actually to be honest, I could probably squeeze out because we're gonna be finishing in an hour from now, so that'll be 5:30. I could squeeze maybe about another 2 or 3 hours out of the, and then I need to go again.
You should
So.
try to do that, I believe, especially if you have a
Mhm.
day with stuff to do,
Mhm.
because then it's going to be harder to lay down maybe after lunch or something. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm gonna try to see what I can get after we finish recording, but yeah,
yeah.
that's
But talking about lunch, have you been eating, continue to eat well over there?
that could ever like, as if
Getting
that
your
could ever
curry?
as if that can ever change. Trinidad and Tobago is full of great food, man. Like honestly
Mm.
speaking, I've been loving it. Like just the
Yeah.
the cuisine, the people,
Mm.
the just it has been good. Like I've been eating well. That's the one
Good.
one of the things that I've been doing a lot of. Actually, you know what? Remember how I was saying to you like I think my missus is waiting. She actually called like 51 minutes ago. She's probably
Oh.
wondering like, "Where's the podcast?" So
Oh, yeah.
I have a message from Nalu as well saying, "Will there be a podcast tonight? We're live."
Yeah, look
Uh,
at that.
yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
this would
yeah,
have been
we're late.
this would have been an hour ago. So Nalu said it an hour ago. And she called me like 51 minutes ago. So. Yeah, I'm just gonna respond to them. We're live. We
Indeed,
had
we are.
some important personal conversation to have before the podcast, and
Yeah.
yeah, it meant that hey Nalu, welcome,
Yeah, hi, hi.
welcome to the
Welcome.
episode. Yeah, so we had a personal conversation we had to have before the podcast. I just wanted to have that I wanted to have with Roger before we started. Like we could have had it on the podcast, but I'd prefer not to at this point in time. I will have that conversation with you guys on the podcast at a much later date. But I am
Mm.
100% sure I can have that conversation with you guys at a later date because, well, Roger knows the reason, but I'm not gonna go into it right now. But
No, we
generous,
save that for another time. Yeah,
save it. It would be like a extra special
yeah.
thing. But feel free to drop a like though, and you'll find out later. The more the
Mm.
merrier. The more we have beautiful people like you, the merrier. Again, why am I allowing myself to feel cold when I can just turn off this air conditioning unit? I say this. I, as if I
Yeah,
can't just get up and just walk to the damn. Let me get the remote. I'll be back. Give me a sec.
yeah,
Oh
sure. Do that.
crap. Uh,
Sitting there with a blanket.
I'm wrapped up in a blanket. I don't need to be. Uh,
No, you don't.
it's like I'm literally in the tropics, bro. Like it's warm outside.
Mm.
I literally just had the AC on because
Yeah,
I'm accustomed to a bit of colder weather, in the UK. But I don't need it to be cold. I could be warm, So
yeah. But what about the weather? Has it been like the because I said this before. Many episodes that we have recorded and we talk about the weather. You always often say, "Oh, it's 28 degrees Celsius, like plus, and it's sunny outside." Okay, check. But is it so, or has it been raining a bit, or
so if I look
how
at
how has the week been?
if I
Yeah.
look at my laptop, it actually shows my time zone and everything from the UK. So it's actually 7 degrees back home, but
Mm.
here in TT, if I look at my watch, it's actually 24 degrees outside, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like
Early morning. Yeah.
I had the air conditioning set to 23 to just drop it down to 1 more degree. So it's a bit colder than like a little bit colder than what it is outside, but it's actually good. Like here it's
Yeah.
warm, it's nice. I've been out, I've literally been getting a lot of food. I ate up some roasty yesterday, that was good. Um, you
Of
know,
course. Yeah. Yeah.
I basically I met up with some friends this week, had some nice food, just hung out, that kind of stuff. It's honestly like I'm just loving the last week in TT has been amazing, honestly. And then like just my friends here have just been so amazing, the
Mm.
the ones I'm staying with at the moment. So like yesterday, I got doubles. They just picked up doubles for me, and I was like, oh, brilliant. So yeah, it's like like the food, amazing. Um,
Oh, good.
mm, and yes,
Have
now
you
the
been
personal.
anywhere in particular, or like I
Um,
mean you talked about the beach. Not sure if you've been able
I
to
haven't
go
been to
there,
the
but
beach yet. Like I will be going to the beach before I head back home. But I haven't been yet. So it's on the list of the places I need to go. I have yet to
the bucket list.
I've yet to get there, but it's on the bucket list. But no, I've generally been going to the capital. I've been having friends come over and hang out by me, here where I am,
Mm-hmm.
or just going out for food.
Yeah,
Generally
yeah.
speaking, that's just been it. I have a few things I've got to get sorted out, so I've just been up and down and running errands and all that kind of stuff. Especially because I haven't been in TT for so long. Um,
Right. Yeah.
it's been a back and forth and a busy time, but at the same time a really enjoyable time. Like I've been having a lot of Trini cuisine, like even like
Mm.
we have our own sort of like um it's kind of like Bailey's, if it's like a creamer kind of thing, like a Bailey's kind of thing, but they
Yeah,
make
yeah.
they make it here in TT. It's called puncha creme, that's what we call
Mm-hmm.
it. And I had some of that. I had like a pistachio puncha creme, and I was amazing. I actually want to get a bottle of that to see if I can take it back with me when I go back home. But we'll see how possible that is. But yeah, generally
Yeah.
speaking, it's been good.
Mm.
I think the only thing is that I don't think I've had a lot of time to watch telly. Which
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if that's a bad thing, because it's probably a bad thing for those of you listening to the episodes, hoping that I have something good to recommend to you. I don't this week.
Yeah, but it's
I
good for you as I mean, yeah, you've been out doing things like
Yes.
socializing, meeting people, being around.
Yep.
And talking about that was one thing. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned coming back now after years and everything, and you see things have changed, or at least,
Mhm.
there might be another building, uh, in another place that you weren't used to before, stuff like that. Do you still find your ways? I mean, is it like you have to think twice, or is
Nah,
it?
I know my way around.
Yeah.
It just literally feels like being in Trinidad. Honestly, I know my way around easily.
Mm.
So
Yeah. Right.
yeah, there's a lot like you said, there's a lot of things that have changed. A lot of places are not where they used to be. There's the new buildings in different places and all that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine and all. But yeah, I know my way around. Like I
Yeah.
honestly
Okay.
don't think about getting lost and all that kind of stuff. You know,
No.
I
Yeah.
I'm perfectly sorted when it comes to that kind of stuff, and I think it's just because of the fact that when I did live in Trinidad, I did actually spend a lot of time like learning the place. Like I knew places. I used to get around. I used to spend time with people and go from point A to point B and so forth. And so for me, it's not like I'm in a foreign place. It's like I feel fine. Like um I feel like I don't know how was the best way to put it. I'm not
Yeah.
I don't want to say like I feel at home, but I do. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
Like I feel
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
home with my family and all that kind of stuff in the UK, but at the same time I feel at home in TT. Like I in the sense of like
Mm.
I feel like I know this place in a very familiar and chill way. You know,
Yeah. Right.
I'm not
Right.
thinking about it in the sense of like, oh well, I don't know this. No, I feel like I know places. I walk around
Mm.
and I'm like, I know. Oh, this place was here. Okay, cool. This place is still here. Cool. You
Yeah.
know. And then there's the
But
one.
you connect, or it connects in a way. I
Yes.
think I can understand what you're describing,
Mhm.
since I moved away from where I was born, north part of Sweden, that area,
Mhm.
when I was like 18, 19 years old. And I
Mhm.
came down to Stockholm, and I've lived here the most of my life. And it's very seldom now that I go up,
Mhm.
to the north part. But when
Mhm.
I do, I mean, obviously, I'm also older, and I've
Mhm.
been like away for a very long time,
Mhm.
like as a whole,
Mhm.
even though there's been visits. But
Right.
I totally understand what you mean. I feel and recognize places, and I get some memories as well. It might trigger some events that I remember from when I was a child, or when I
Mhm.
was a youngster, things like that. Good stuff, bad stuff, all in a mix. And
Mhm.
yeah, but at the same time, it's also far away from me now. It's like it's almost a city among cities in a way,
Mhm.
because I hardly know anyone there any
Yes.
longer. And I have a few relatives
Mhm.
and things like that, but it's hardly any friends that I mean, unfortunately, in a way.
Mhm.
At least, as I said, I met this girl like half a year ago, almost now.
Mhm.
That I was studying together with in the years there. But and thanks to Facebook, I must say. But yeah, so I understand what you mean. I
Mhm.
understand what you mean. That feeling might even change a bit more for you as year passes by,
Hell yeah.
especially if you continue to stay and live your most of your life in, for example, UK.
Mhm.
It was always it's hopefully it's all you will still always feel that it's kind of nice to come back home in a way, whatever that is per
Uh-huh.
definition. But it will change. It will change.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can imagine. My father is not alive. He died in 2019,
Mhm.
and now I only have my mother,
Mhm.
and she's fortunately coming down. I'm gonna pick her up on Friday, by the way, when it comes to
Mhm.
Christmas and everything. Looking forward to that. But I mean, when she's gone,
Mhm.
what about it then? Will I go up there at all, or
Mhm.
It's like, yeah. To be fair and honest,
Mhm.
it's, yeah, I don't know.
That's the thing, you know.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But when it comes to movies, yeah, we're getting into that. I have not been. I am a home movie guy for now, and that's also what I got to talk about when we get into the movie section. Yeah, it's gonna be. I think there might be a podcast before the new year. We don't really know yet. It
Yeah.
depends on certain things, for
Mhm.
especially for you, Q. But we're getting
Yeah.
to that
I
later.
I
So
I can say um the I hope I'm home for the new year so I can record in my set. I was saying to Roger, it would be nice to have to be on my setup again where I can actually sit by my computer. Everything's already set the way I want it. I've got my mic. The audio is exactly the way I like. The way you guys are accustomed to hearing me, and just having that my whole setup properly, and getting a full night's rest before the recording. But at the same time, it's you know, there are a few factors involved as to whether or not I will be back home in time or not. So we'll see. I will try
Yeah,
my best to see if I'm back home in time.
yeah. We'll keep you guys posted. We
Mhm.
know later at a later date. I think that's basically what we can say.
I
I
know
mean,
already, but I just
yeah,
I've
yeah.
not I'll just but when sometimes you know something but you have to confirm because there are other
yeah,
factors involved. So for me, it's like
it's true.
I'm gonna have to confirm when, if or when I'll be back. But I hope I'll be back on time, and then I can do the recording properly, and you guys can enjoy the podcast the way you've gotten accustomed to it. And yeah,
Yeah.
so that's kind
Mm.
of it. You know.
But it sounds as you've had a good week. I mean, as you just pointed out, the city, no, not the city, but the people, your friends, fam are taking care of you. You're getting food and you're getting good socialization opportunities, apparently.
hmm
So that's good. By the way, may I ask you, have you met Chris yet?
Not yet. Everyone, the thing is that I just have to say thank you to everyone, like all my friends and family who's just been like so generous and stuff with me, coming over and staying here, 'cause I just came in and I've been accepted to by everyone to just like be here, but that being said, like I plan to go see Chris before I leave. Like I'm not gonna just leave TT and not visit Chris, but I have
Mm,
had other priorities, other things that I'm doing
exactly.
that has prevented me from visiting Chris. But Chris already knows, so we've already spoken. So he's aware of the fact that hey, I will come and see him, before I leave. But it's just I have a few other things I need to sort out first. Because obviously this when I head back home, I don't know when next I'll be making a trip to TT. Not like it's impossible I make a trip again, but this is gonna be a while, so I have a few things in Trinidad itself that I want to just get
Mm.
done, and then once that's done, I can yeah, I can be like, yeah, it's fine. And it sounds like it's something important. I need to eat more roti, to be honest. I need to eat more. Ooh, Nalu says he just watched Gran Turismo on Netflix. I didn't know it was out on Netflix yet. I am
No, me
keen.
neither. Yeah, I will watch that for sure. I saw it had over seven something on IMDb, so people seem to like it.
Yeah,
I will definitely put that on my list.
yeah,
I mean, we're
definitely.
getting closer to Christmas, so hopefully it will be some time to watch a movie or two as well.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I will definitely put it on my list as well. I'll be watching that.
yeah,
I have not been watching a lot of stuff. I've been watching this Korean drama with my with one of my hosts here. Him and I we've been one of my friends here. We've been sitting watching this Korean show. But like when I say watching, I'm sort of like watching in passing. It's more like he's watching the show and I just come and I sit down with him for a bit and watch it. So I can't say I would have loved to talk more about the show on it, but I've literally seen only episode one, and
yeah.
um,
It's just the the intro. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's a show about this aggressive priest. I think it's like Fiery Priest or something is the name of it on Netflix. So yeah, but
Mm.
only the first episode I've seen, so I don't know what like I have general glimpses from the other episodes, and it's a Korean show, so yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Yeah, as mentioned, well, we're getting to that soon, but I've talked a lot about Korean stuff. I watch a lot of Korean movies and a bit of reality series as well when it comes to Korean stuff, South Korean stuff, and it can be really good.
Mhm.
But I just wanted to fill in and talk briefly about my week. It's just the main thing for me here is that the weather kind of broke. And when
Mhm.
I say, yeah, I was so happy. Also, when we recorded last week, due to the
Mhm.
fact that it was snow on the ground, it was some minus degrees. It was beautiful outside. I was like, yes, this is how it should be close to Christmas. But then we got and I saw it coming.
Mhm.
We got plus degrees. You mentioned UK also. We have about the same. It's like around 5, 6 plus degrees or whatever have you. And of course, that alongside with some rain as well, definitely destroyed it all. The snow is more or less gone.
Mhm.
I saw now. I can just see some small, some small spots with snow. I heard it's gonna be a bit colder towards the end of the week. Not sure if that also means that it might be a bit of snow. I hope so because
Mhm.
again, it was I really liked it when it was. I mean, it's December. If it's
Mhm.
like that here in Scandinavia, that's usually how I believe it should be.
Mhm.
So that's a bit of a no. I don't want a green like Christmas. Like watching the lawn outside. No, cover it with
Mhm.
snow now. So yeah. Besides that, we have been actually. I can say this now because it's official. Having getting into secrets. As you may know, I play in a band. It's called Capital 59, and we had this gig recently.
Mhm.
And out of the band Capital 59, there is like another project on the side that is called Shed Sun.
Mhm.
It's going to be more about that later. But what has happened now, very briefly, is that we have actually exchanged the singer in Capital 59. We have a new singer now.
This
And
is not good. This is not good.
yeah, yeah, he's yeah,
Not
it
good at
is good.
all. It should have been me. It should
I
have
know.
been me.
Sorry, Q. I'll spoil it for you. Well, his name is Thomas, and he has been playing with the guitarist in the band before, many, many years ago.
Mhm.
And it was a very, I think we did agree about things. And also Sam, that has been singing with us, he is more into the music
Mhm.
we do in the other project, and also his voice is, I would say, and I think he agrees, better suited as well for that kind of music.
Mhm.
So it became a bit, I hope, and I want to look at it as a kind of a win-win situation. So that has been a thing, and that was something we did on Sunday.
Mhm.
And otherwise, I've just been trying to do my things, trying also to, as mentioned, since from Friday, my mom's going to be here.
Mhm.
She will be here celebrating Christmas, and then on the 27th, she will take a bus 2 hours ride to Örebro, which is
Mhm.
a city here in Sweden where my sister has lived for a very long time. She also moved down from the north
Mhm.
quite early on to continue her studies and so forth, and been living there a long time now. And then she comes back after New Year's Eve. She's celebrating New Year's Eve with my sister, and then just have another day here, and then she goes back up to Skellefteå. Oh,
Is
that's the city.
um is Adam coming over for the holidays as well, or is he just gonna pop
Yeah,
over to
yeah,
visit? So he's gonna be at home.
absolutely. We have yes, we have a bit of a surprise for my mom on Saturday. I
Mhm.
think I mentioned it.
Is it a
When
restaurant?
yeah, exactly. We're
Mhm.
going to Eifur, the
Mhm.
Viking restaurant.
Right.
So yeah, so we're gonna be there, and I think she will appreciate that. So of course, yes, yes, Adam will come over,
Mhm.
and that also goes for Christmas. We will also, of course, go and visit his apartment. I want to show my mom his apartment.
Mhm.
So you know,
Yeah.
there's some we have stuff to do,
Oh,
and
remember when
and
you get.
this evening, yeah,
Mhm.
sorry, this
No, go on.
evening, I mentioned this. We ordered this like food for Christmas. In
Mhm.
Sweden we say julbord.
Mhm.
That's like where you put all the stuff on the table. Like we're gonna eat all this spare ribs and everything, meatballs. Hooah, let's go. And but this time around, I think I mentioned it's like from the woods. It's like a
Mm.
beer sausage,
Mhm.
reindeer sausage. It's
Ooh.
it's yeah, it's super cool. It's a nice mix. So it's a bit more like that. And they would come with the box this evening. So we gotta
Mm,
be ready for that. Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking
So
forward
everything
to
is in
trying
order.
that. I think I'll
Yeah,
just
yeah.
just prepare a spot next to the table for me, so
Exactly. Come over.
I'll just pop in, have some beer meat. I've never eaten beer and reindeer, so
Yeah.
I think I'm good to try that.
I believe you are. Yes. You will most likely enjoy that as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. I'm looking forward to it actually. This
Mhm.
is gonna be really, really good.
Yeah.
And so again, so I'm regarding my week, I'm trying to finish stuff, making the videos I need to be done, finishing
Mhm.
some tracks I've been working on and upload them and stuff like that. So I can feel that, it's a good feeling for yourself also when you can, okay, I've done what I was supposed to. Now I can now I can drink some Christmas beer or whatever,
Yep.
and just relax a bit, as said. And with that said, we can definitely go into what do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about gaming or telly or?
I'll let you choose. I chose last week.
Okay, okay. Then let's go with telly first.
Mhm.
Actually, I mean, you mentioned you were co watching your friend's series.
Yes.
Come again. What was it called? What was it?
I think it's called The Fiery Priest. I don't know
Okay.
much about it
Mm-hmm.
other than that it's a Korean show. Let me see if I'm correct. The Fiery um
Yeah, you
PRIST.
are.
Yeah, 2019 series on Netflix. As well, it's a 8.2 on IMDb, so it's highly rated.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an 8.2 because again, I've only seen episode one. I like
Exactly.
episode
Too
one? I
early.
I
Yeah.
did like episode one because we watched the first episode and we were both kind of like hooked. But he's quite a few more episodes in. I think he's 10 episodes in, and he's kind of like, I don't know if I'm feeling it. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
does it
Yeah.
does it lose some of its thunder as the series goes on? At least maybe if it's lost it for him, maybe I might watch it and I may be like, oh, I still like it up to this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
I like the
been.
plot though. I have to say, it's like action comedy crime and about a Catholic priest with anger
Mhm.
management issues.
Yep, he is. He's essentially imagine if Bruce Lee was a priest. That's essentially
Yeah.
kind of like what he's like, cause he's a proper like
Martial arts
he,
priest.
a proper martial arts priest. He'll kick your butt and at the six, but he only kicks the butt of like bad guys. So like with most priests, they'll see like gangsters and stuff doing gangster stuff, and they'll be like, oh, come and pray for your sins, and that'll be it. No, he'll go and beat them up. Like he'll turn up and he'll beat them up, and then he will, they'll be like, oh, you're a priest, like you just like look like just pray for us. And, nope, no, no. The Lord told me I should beat you up. And you just beat.
Yep. Amen.
That's pretty much the way he does it. So it's the first episode is
L-
really nice.
Lee Haney, beautiful girl there.
Yes, there's quite some beautiful actresses in there, and the male lead is he's also like a pretty boy, so
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I think if you're watching this and you're considering the prettiness of the actors and actresses in there, I think you'll be quite satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, generally nice nice first episode. I don't know how the rest is. I think I'll probably have to watch it in my own time and see how much what I think of it and so forth.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Mm.
you on the other hand, I've been watching a series that is also full of martial arts, isn't
Yeah, I have to say it is.
it?
Once again, looking in the rear mirror, go back a bit vintage, some older stuff and some classic stuff. And I'm happy that, yeah, actually, me and Isaac went back and rewatched the Rush Hour movies
Ooh.
with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker.
Mhm.
Both the first one, the
Mhm.
second, and the third. I think
Ooh.
the first one is from 1998, the
Mhm.
good stuff, the good times.
The
And
classics.
then, yeah, and then the second is from 2001, I believe. And
Mhm.
then I guess the third one is around 2004, 2005.
Mhm.
Now, this is good. If you haven't watched Rush Hour and
Mhm.
you like some good action, but also quite a few laughs,
Mhm.
then I highly recommend you to check them out. Because it's also cool because like Jackie Chan is a policeman in Hong Kong and obviously Chris Tucker is from the US and I think it's
Mhm.
LA foremost, yeah.
Mhm.
And they get teamed up
Mhm.
and in the beginning it's a bit of I shouldn't say conflict but friction at least.
Yes. Mhm.
But they become good pals and everything, and they are a good match
Yes.
for the movies as a whole. They do
Mhm.
really well together, and there's some really hilarious moments and jokes and stuff. And I just said to Isaac also, I don't see these kind of movies anymore. I just don't.
Yes.
This
Mhm.
kind of mix of action and comedy is like you don't see that. And
Mhm.
you definitely don't see so many movies that both make jokes about white people,
Mhm.
black people, and
Mhm.
Asian people in the same
Yep.
movie.
To be honest, like jokes about people's ethnicity and all that kind of stuff are no longer like what people consider to be funny anymore. At least when it comes to modern creators when they create stuff.
Yeah.
And for me, I find that's so sad because
Yes.
I think it's stuff that we as humans we talk about all the time, and I think when it comes to humor, I think humor is making joke and fun about the common things that we all interact with on a day to day, and
Exactly.
unfortunately,
I think it helps us
it does
because
help us. It does help us have conversations about things that we otherwise would find difficult. I think,
yeah. And
you
maybe
know,
also laugh about things that are, yeah, in its core not good things, when it comes
exactly.
to maybe racism and people thinking that people are in a certain way because they just have a certain skin color and so forth.
Mhm.
But and as I said to Isaac when I thought about it, okay, so this you don't see or hear certain jokes like this in modern
You
movies. You
wouldn't.
you just don't.
Mhm.
But you might do it off screen, meaning stand-up comedy.
Yes.
That's where they still pull things like this off,
I think, but
or even worse sometimes.
I
So
would I would say though with stand-up comedy as well, like it's some of them because like I feel like a lot of like I've watched a lot of stand-up comedians like
yeah,
they put a lot of their stuff online nowadays, and when you watch
mm,
some of their stuff, some of them have gotten so tame in the way in the way in which they did deliver their comedy. It's sort of like they're not funny anymore. It's like they're trying
yeah,
so hard
yeah,
to sort of like like appease to everyone that they
right,
basically to me they don't appeal to anyone. It's sort of like
yeah.
they don't come off as funny anymore to me.
It
And
yeah,
I
it can be too obvious to try hard, you might say, to bring
yes.
out the laughter out of those kind of topics.
Mhm.
It's either that or they go under the belt and it's all about the yeah, the things under the belt. It's like,
I find it's like okay, let's not laugh about these things, so let's make jokes about things that like it's just like it's not funny. Like the things
mm,
that they laugh about, and I think one of the things that makes comedy funny is that a lot of it is relatable. There's a little bit of truth in
yeah,
every little joke. It may not everything may not
mm,
be true, but there's a little bit of truth in every little joke, and then that's why people
yeah,
find it funny. I think for modern comedy, for me, I can't relate to it. So when they may tell their jokes about like let's say for example a comedian telling a joke about a trans experience, I can't relate to that in the slightest. So they'll probably tell the joke and it will fall flat for me. I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. you know
mm,
and like I listened to a joke the other day that this female comedian did on I think on YouTube or something like that, and I could tell where her punchline was, and I could tell like, oh, okay, I get this was supposed to be really funny. I just didn't find it that funny, you know.
yeah, right,
That was the
right,
thing, like like I get she was, because there was a point where I was like, okay, like this could be, I can see where this could be funny, but I just didn't feel it. I was just like,
mm,
I'm not feeling this joke. But then there was the other day I was listening to an old joke from an old classic comedian, Cat Williams, and
mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I know. Mm.
he tends to do a lot of raunchy comedy, and even to this day, he still tends to do that kind of stuff. Um, and he told a joke, and it was funny. Like I was laughing. I was like, "Bloody hell!" Like that's a good joke. So you talking about Russia, to me, I think that's stuff like that is good, and I think also like the way in which you watch classic stuff like that with Isaac. I think that's brilliant because you get to,
Yeah,
to pass on that sort of stuff to the next generation. Rather than him just growing up on like him having to watch stuff that's just what's coming out now. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he can refer to things, and yeah, we've done that quite a lot. I mean, Adam
Mhm.
has also watched older movies. He I see he still do that because we also get recommendations from him that are mostly older movies. It's funny. Some of them we've seen most likely, but some not.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the same with music. I mean, we play a lot of older music here, and as said, especially Isaac. I mean, he's put together a freaking playlist on Spotify. I think it's over 1K tracks with
hmm
music from like the 70s and 80s, and yeah,
The
it's cool.
classics, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I like, for example, like when I consider like with my kids, and I consider like with Zavi and stuff like that, like what he listens to. He listens to a lot of modern music, but at the same time, I kind of I want him to listen to a lot of the stuff that I listen to as well. I feel like most like Ty listens to the stuff I listen to, so to a certain extent. Like there's this song that I was that I posted on my Instagram yesterday, and somehow I came across it. So it's a Trinidadian kind of song for Christmas time, and it goes like, I want a Spanish woman to marry me. And there's a whole chorus
Okay.
and everything about soca parang, and then it goes it's essentially, so Trinidadans, we have this thing called this musical this genre of music called soca parang. And soca is like Trinidadian music that you play around carnival. It's like party music. But then parang is like it's Christmas music. It's sort of like
Yeah, right.
it's got like a Spanish sort of like connection. So you use a lot of instruments that they would use to play Spanish music. You have a cuatro. You have these this what do you call it? This instrument they call a shak. It's like a ball
Aha.
with like seeds or something inside of it. So when you shake it, it makes
Oh.
this like I don't know what you call it. It's like a shaking song with like stuff inside of it, making noise,
Hmm.
hitting inside
Right.
this sort of thing. And you have these other instruments that they use, and they all come together to give you this very, for me as a Trinidadian, when I listen to that kind of music, it gives me a very familiar Christmas vibe. Like I think
Ah,
for
nice.
maybe like a Polish person might think of snow when they think Christmas,
Mm.
or a Swedish person
Yeah.
may think of reindeer,
Yeah,
but
reindeer meat.
but a Trini,
Sorry.
it's no, it's brilliant. I think for a Trini, it's parang and panchakrem,
Mm.
or sorrel, and those sort of things. I think, yeah. So like that song, that same, I want a Spanish woman. Like I've played that song to Ty, and Ty has sung it with me. Like we'll be in the kitchen singing, "I want a Spanish woman to
Oh,
marry me." It's a really good song.
nice.
I wish I could play the whole song. It's by
Yeah,
it's by an
yeah.
artist called Baron, or the Mighty Baron.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Spotify if you want to go listen to it, and I guess on YouTube as well. I highly
Yeah,
recommend
yeah.
it. It's one of my favorites. There's
Cool.
another one I wanted to play on my, because when I went to play to pick a song for my on my Instagram, because I tend to put music when I post pictures on Instagram, on my stories. There was another song I actually wanted to use, but um what do you call it? Instagram didn't have that song, and then it recommended the Spanish Woman song. I was like, oh my god, I haven't heard this song since like last Christmas. Oh, let's put that in there, and I
Yeah.
dumped it up there. So it's been. I was like, yes,
Oh, man.
it's a classic. It's a classic song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So again, that's nice to hear. I didn't know about that.
Mhm.
But taking the whole round here, then coming back to just the rush hour and everything,
Mhm.
closing shop there. Yeah, classic indeed. And it has a 7.0 on IMDb. At least the first movie. I think that the other ones are close to that or even higher. So I
Mhm.
highly recommend, if you haven't watched Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker together in the Rush Hour movies, do that. It's a good laugh and
Mhm.
everything. I felt so good watching them again.
Mhm.
Good stuff. Good stuff. But with that said, we have you been able to play video games at all?
I have.
Oh,
Thankfully,
good.
I have a Steam Deck, and my Steam Deck
Yeah.
has been my best opportunity to come and sit down and play some games. And I have had that opportunity. I've been able to sit down and play a few games and stuff like that on my Steam Deck. And I think the most notable game I've played this past week on my Steam Deck is a game called Wedding Witch. And
Oh.
Wedding Witch is it's a newer game. I don't I believe it was released this year. Let me actually look at the release date for it.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. Search YouTube. Search no sorry. Search the Steam store.
3rd November?
Uh,
November 3rd?
November the 3rd. It is a very inexpensive game. It costs like £3 21
Dude,
right
it's
now.
20, yeah, it's 25% off also from my end when it comes to the
Yes,
Steam. Yeah,
it's
374 here. Yeah.
super cheap. It's a very inexpensive game. And I personally think it is a game that everyone should pick up. To be honest, I'm not even sure. I think it was Nalu who recommended this to me. Either Nalu or someone
Oh,
from the in the Discord server who actually recommended this to me, and I can't remember who it was. I think it was Nalu, but I may be wrong. Nalu, you can let me know in the chat if it was you who recommended this game. This game is amazing. So essentially, how you play the game is it's a roguelite.
sorry. I'm reading about it. Oh my God. Yeah, go on.
It's a roguelite, and essentially you play as a witch, and
Yeah.
goes to this forest. Basically, it's like a procedurally generated forest, and she's drinking these potions that the
Big
succubus made.
breast potion.
She has potions that changes her body type, so you can get
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can make her thicker, you can make her stronger physically, you can turn her into a beast girl and give her a tail, you can turn her into a succubus.
Wow.
But the potions you get are random, so you like you kind of have to choose a path, and then you can get these potions, and then if you get like I think it's like six of the same potion,
Okay.
you can get unlock of a different outfit, like a different version of her, where she would be like a big booby lady, or a thick lady, or a small booby
Wow.
lady, or whatever have you. And so that's kind of what it's like. And um,
Okay.
but the gameplay itself is amazing. So you basically move her around, and she attacks
Mm.
like on her own, but then you can customize a lot of the abilities you get, and there are some abilities that you can just purchase, like to like boost your attack speed by 10% or whatever have you, and so forth. You can pay for
Mm-hmm.
those, like generally speaking, with some of the currency you unlock in the game, the coins. But then
Right.
also during each run, you get to choose different abilities, but you can only choose up to a certain amount of abilities as you level up. And
Mm.
I'm just saying, bro, like it's really good when you get a nice build and you have the right abilities. There are certain abilities that I think for me in every run I have to have, because I feel like
Mm-hmm.
these abilities are gonna help me survive. And then there's other abilities where I'm like, I could pass. This ability is kind of crap.
Yeah.
So you have to really figure out like the best build to survive and then make it to the end of the level. And I've completed the game on normal difficulty and on hard difficulty. I haven't beaten it on nightmare yet. And I think it's because I need to level up my witch a bit more, and I need to figure out the perfect build to be some nightmare difficulty. But I will eventually.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
fun.
cool. They actually did an update recently on the 3rd
Mhm.
of December. They went in and fixed some, in-game text
Mhm.
things that was a bit awkward when it comes to the English and German translation.
Mhm.
So it seems that they are, yeah, they've been recently supporting the game as well. That's good to see. Oh,
It's amazing. And on the Steam Deck, it runs really well. It
no,
runs
good.
really well on
Hmm.
the Steam Deck. It looks great. It says it has that whole playable thing with the yellow thing, but what it says, this game supports the Steam Deck native display resolution, but does not set it by default and may require configuration of display resolution manually. Now, for me, I didn't run into any issues with regards to setting the resolution. I just turned the
Hmm.
game on, and it was the right resolution I needed, if I remember correctly. So, because it's not even installed on my PC, it's only installed on my Steam Deck. So
Ah.
it looks amazing. It runs amazingly. Visually, I just think it's such a cool game.
Hmm.
I do like a little bit of fan service, so that does work in its favor. But generally speaking, it's a nice little game. It's a really nice
Cool.
game. I've been leveling up my character. I've been doing a lot of grinding in it, and it's from developer Chobi.
Hmm.
Developer Chobi, you guys are amazing. I think your roguelite is super cool, and for the price that you're selling it at, wonderful. I think I might even buy the DLC because the DLC is just the art book. I might just buy the art book. It's like
Yeah.
£3 something, 3.99 for the art book. For how cheap they selling this game for, I think these people need to let them have a good Christmas. I'll buy the art
Yeah.
book. I'll get the art book for myself.
Hmm.
That's a good thing. In fact, I might even get someone else a copy of this game for Christmas because I think it's awesome. Oh wow, I'm actually looking at the trailer and I'm seeing abilities that I've never used. That is so cool. Um, so yeah,
Nice.
generally
Yeah.
speaking, it is such a cool game. Wedding Witch, go check it
Mm.
out. I highly recommend it. It's not got a rating because this is not IMDb, but I can say highly recommended by me, and it's also very positive on Steam. So yeah, that's brilliant.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah. Um.
Mm.
So what about you, Raj? What have you been playing?
I have been once again going back playing an older game. I recently talked about Battlefield 1. I talked about the fact that there was a sale we mentioned in Steam,
Mhm.
on Steam just a few weeks ago, where the whole like Battlefield franchise was, there was a discount and you could buy
Mhm.
one game for only like $4 or $5.
Mhm.
And that was also the case with Battlefield 5 that was released in 2018. Now,
Mhm.
this was a game when it came out at least. I wasn't really into it. I
Mhm.
enjoyed Battlefield 1 and also Battlefield 4 more than Battlefield 5.
Mhm.
But it's interesting to see now as the time has passed and there's been other games coming out and I streamed this game yesterday and I'm also making a video about it because I just felt that, compared to some of the newer titles, this is really nice. I don't
Mhm.
know what that says, that the standard has gone down or something. I have no idea.
Mhm.
But it is cool. It is actually. And I had a good time playing. And unfortunately, there was quite some cheaters in the lobbies.
Wow.
Yes, unfortunately. I'm not talking about like one over like 10 games played. It
Mhm.
was every second or third match that I played.
Ooh.
That's unfortunate. I did not experience that in Battlefield 1 for
Mhm.
some reason. I don't know. But with that said, or besides that, it was a good experience. And if you are into these kind of games, and if you're able to get Battlefield 5, you can definitely have a good time also with the single player
Mhm.
if you get it for a good price. I mean, otherwise, you will most likely pay, at least if it's the definitive edition here on Steam, it's like
Mhm.
$49. I wouldn't pay that
Mhm.
for this game. Instead, I would maybe include it with EA Play or something like that, or
Yeah.
go on Xbox, Game Pass and stuff like that. So, but it's nice to see once again coming back to a bit of an older game in a very popular franchise and see that
Mhm.
this shit rocks to a certain degree at least. So,
I think a
I
lot
had
of. Mhm.
yeah, yeah, go on. Yes.
No, I was gonna say like I think a lot of the classic shooters and stuff like that are still pretty good. They still hold up.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, they do. They do. Obviously, I felt it.
Mhm.
And so that's my game. Besides that, I can just mention that I did a video also the other day about the finals,
Mhm.
which is the game show FPS experience that is, I talked about it before, by Embark Studios, the little studio here in Sweden, but
Mhm.
with some veterans from Dice as an example. And it has been doing really well, but a few weeks has passed after release now, and they have turned up the skill-based matchmaking in the game quite some. It's
Mhm.
quite harsh right now. And I felt I took a break 5, 6 days not playing the game. Also, since I need to, if I'm gonna cover another game, let's say I make a video.
Mhm.
I only have one external hard drive at the moment, so I need to then uninstall the game in order to have the space for
To make the
stuff like that.
space.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Since I want it on my SSD. Uh, but with that said, I felt a difference like the first second game, but wow, okay, this is much sweatier now. It's much sweatier.
Mhm.
I don't know. We're not going to talk much about that. I already talked about the game. I've talked about skill-based matchmaking and things like that. If you're interested, you might want to check out the video. But other than that, it's just yeah, it's modern. As I say in the video though, I actually do two things. I
Yeah.
talk about what I think about it, of course, and what might happen with the game,
Mhm.
that it might be on the bad side of things
Mhm.
when it comes to future numbers or whatever have you. But I also give an example from my experience being an older gamer when it comes to how games felt
Mhm.
before skill-based matchmaking, and especially before this kind of harsh skill-based matchmaking, narrowing the
Mhm.
window when it comes to people that you get matched together with.
Yeah.
And because I totally understand that many of you younger gamers don't really have that experience and
Yeah.
can't relate to it because you have grown up playing these games that already have skill-based matchmaking in the game.
Mhm.
And so I do talk about that a bit and describe the feeling or the difference. And
Mhm.
that it also means that, yeah, initially when you get into a new game, you will most likely have not maybe get stomped on,
Yeah.
but you will have to fight for your survival.
Mhm.
And you will have to put time into the game in order
Mhm.
to, consistently to get better and to climb the ranks
Mhm.
and to get more kills and whatever you're looking for in the game.
Mhm.
But when you do, it also feels so much more rewarding.
Mhm.
And because those games, they did not hold your hand when it comes to any kind of like advanced algorithms, when it comes to
Mhm.
matchmaking. They did not have this, as it is now in many shooters, like over the top strong aim assist also for players playing with controllers.
Mhm.
So, you just had to learn the game or
You have to get
go
good
play
scrub.
another game. It's
Get
like,
good scrub. That's it. You know. That's it.
so I don't know. Because it feels as many of the game developers now, they want to try the game to be accessible and
Mhm.
fun and whatever have you for everyone, and
Yeah.
that can't happen. It just
Yeah.
can't.
Accessibility over specialization, and I think that's the
Yes,
problem. I think
yes,
when you have a game that is specialized for specific things, I've seen it with eFootball and stuff like that becoming more and more
yeah,
accessible, but at the same time it's alienating the core audience that grew up and loved
yes,
those games. And I think the minute that for games like those, the indie developers are going to take their money, because what's going to happen, the indie developers are going to come around and do the things that the fans like. They're going to take
yeah,
do those things, and then what's going to happen is the fans are eventually going to just shift to indies. Like they're going to
yeah,
be getting their games from indie developers, because
mm,
let's say for example a Call of Duty develop similar first person shooter comes out that's similar to Call of Duty in almost every way, but classic Call of Duty. Odds are people who like Call of Duty, classic Call of Duty, will go to that, and they will drop Call of
yes,
Duty itself, because they'll be like, no,
mm,
I'm tired of skill based matchmaking, and so forth. It's the same like for me and eFootball. I think if there's an eFootball competitor that comes out that does Master League, I'm done with PES. Like
yeah,
I will literally never jump back to that game again, because the minute I get
mm,
a good Master League in a game, I'm gone.
yeah,
With
yeah,
the right game. Well, and actually, a lot of PES fans have just been modding the old PES games to play Master League. You know,
right,
that's how
mm,
much, they're like, okay, well, I guess I'll just have to mod the old game. So imagine if someone ever came out and said, hey, I'm gonna make a proper game, proper gameplay,
yeah,
put it out
yeah,
there.
yeah,
People will buy it, and
yeah.
they'll forget Konami, and then you have these companies, they feel hard done when they're like, oh, well, no one's buying our stuff and stuff like that, and no, but you're not making what we want, is it?
Mm.
So.
It's interesting, and yeah, you did some good, like, yeah, you did had some good sayings, but also some good examples.
Mhm.
There was a project, for example, when it comes to Call of Duty that was called SM3. They've been
Right.
working on it for some years,
Mhm.
taking the best from different, card games, putting them into one.
Mhm.
But that project was like half a year ago stopped by Activision. So
Mhm.
I was surprised that they were able to go on for so long. It looked very promising, of course. And I think that could have become quite a competitor, to be honest, as
Mhm.
as you described it.
Yeah.
I'm also curious to see what's going to happen. I've mentioned a shooter called X Defiant that
Mhm.
Ubisoft is working on.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's not indie, but it's a game that they've said that there will not be skill-based matchmaking in that game.
I think
And
that.
I know from the reactions, sorry, from the reactions when the beta was out and everything, they got problems when it comes to, I think it was some kind of, like license or certification when it comes to the Xbox version and everything. So it's been delayed,
Hmm.
and now I guess they're gonna wait until,
The
beginning
new
of
year.
next year or whatever have you. But it's gonna be interesting to see because I saw the reactions. People, oh yeah, I'm totally into this. No SBMM,
Hmm.
they were like, yeah, yeah. You were about to say,
Oh no, I was
uh,
just gonna say like I hope they keep their word on it because I think with a lot of these
yeah,
these big name publishers is that they say one thing 1 minute and as soon as the money starts rolling in, that's when they change their
yeah,
tone. So if
true.
and you saying that it's Ubisoft, I think that they're a big name publisher just like let's like Square Enix and Activision and all these other companies. So
Indeed.
for me, I would say I hope they keep their word and not
Yeah,
decide to change later on the line. You know,
yeah,
because the players will be better off because of it. So fingers crossed
yeah,
they don't really just chase the money alone and they consider the fact that let's make a good game as well that people actually want to
true.
play. So
Mm.
yeah. Anywho's it. I think we've got to the end of
Yeah,
the podcast, haven't we?
we have reached the end, ladies and gentlemen. So with that said, I want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for being here when it comes to the live podcast, but also if you're listening afterwards in
Hmm.
yeah, on maybe through the website or something.
Yeah.
And we will keep you posted when it comes to if we are able to squeeze in an episode before the new year.
Yep.
You will know that later.
Hmm.
But I also want to wish you guys, because that will not happen before Christmas.
It will
So
be after
we
Christmas.
celebrate Christmas. Yeah, exactly. We celebrate Christmas here on the 24th. Some of you
Hmm.
guys do it on the 25th. But even so, I want to wish you a happy or a Merry Christmas. I hope you're going to have a good time together with family or friends. And take care of yourself. And we talk soon again. So, muffin and out.
Mm, beautiful as always. So yes, likewise, Merry Christmas to everyone, and a potential Happy New Year if we don't get to say it properly in the
Yeah.
before the New Year. Um, hopefully, or as Trini say, season's greetings. Enjoy the season. So
Mm.
generally speaking, I hope you guys have a wonderful time, and thank you for sticking with us this entire year. As well as like this is our 200 episode, so we wish we had planned something like special for it, but unfortunately that is not the case. We haven't planned anything special because I'm here in TT and stuff like that. But don't worry, we'll make up for something to
Yeah.
celebrate episode 200 and maybe 201 or 202 by the time I'm back home and all that kind of stuff. But thank you to everyone for showing up for this episode of the podcast. As always, we wouldn't like you guys to miss out. Ooh, wait, you can find Raj at Forest Splish Splash pretty much everywhere. He streams on a Tuesday and a Sunday. That's correct.
Correct.
Are you streaming this week, Raj?
Yes, I streamed what is it today? Yesterday, as mentioned, Battlefield 5. On Thursday, I will put in an extra on Thursday instead of Sunday since it's Christmas Eve
That's
for us
why.
here
That's
on
why I was
Sunday. Yeah, yeah,
asking.
yeah,
I was like, are
yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah. So it's gonna be a stream on Thursday instead.
Ah, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You can find me at LP Gardens, Gardens LTU, pretty much everywhere else. You can find us at Simply Binge or at Simply Binge UK, pretty much everywhere else on the internet. And as always, we'd like you guys to miss out on any episodes of That Beautiful Life podcast. Many beautiful people like subscribe to this podcast on Castbox, Acast, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, YouTube Music, simplybinge.com, and elsewhere. And with something they're gonna like it that we're giving it for free. So as always, guys, this has been queued for your pleasure. It's a wrap. And I say that for your pleasure as a tired person because I actually need to go back and sleep a little bit. Man, I'm not. I can actually feel my body just saying like, man, just sleep, Q, just
Yeah, I can understand it.
sleep.
It's like a magnet. You're being pulled towards the bed more or less.
I can feel my eyes getting heavier and I'm yawning
Yeah.
more frequently. I'm sure you guys can see it on
Yep.
the camera. So, yeah, I can't wait to just sort of like just. I'm gonna turn off the lights. I'm gonna crawl back into bed, and then I'm gonna go sleep. I'm probably just gonna use the, the,
Yeah.
the, the restroom first, and then I'm gonna go sleep, and then that's about
Yeah.
it for me. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think you should. You get that extra boost, maybe 2+ hours sleep, especially since you're gonna do stuff later today, and you know.
I do need to call my son back though. My phone started ringing during the podcast. It was actually my son. So
Oh,
yeah. So
okay,
I messaged him to ask him is it urgent, and he said no, it's not. So I was like, okay, perfect. I'll call you back after the
okay.
podcast. So I'm just gonna call him back, find what he wanted. Hopefully, it's nothing that is time consuming. That's something I can just like deal with in a reasonable amount of time, and then I
Yeah.
can go and sleep. I'm sure
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
probably just gonna ask me for advice on something, so I'll be able to give him that quickly because he said it wasn't urgent. If it was urgent, then I would have just probably like stepped out for a bit, took the call,
Hmm.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
that would have taken longer time, most likely.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see
Yeah.
what's going on in a bit with him. So
Yeah.
yeah, about time for
Well,
me to just walk around
yeah.
with do that typical streamer thing